Jesus. Oh my God. All right. I just came from walking and it is so humid that as soon as I walked out, I started sweating. Unbelievably hot. So anyways, give me 1 second. We're continuing the dream that I mentioned about the Native Americans because I got confirmation about what it meant. And I didn't write it in here. I have several things I write things in, like, it's just everywhere. So I'm going to write it down, but just important details. So in my dream, I didn't know the location of the reservation, and through some talking to a group of indigenous people that I follow, I found out it's in North Carolina. It's Cherokee. And it's related to Chimney Rock, which is my sacred place. Chimney Rock was the first mountain I ever climbed when I lived in North Carolina for 2 years. And it was a sacred spiritual journey for me because Chimney Rock, you have to climb uphill on steep steps, and in order to get to the top, which is the waterfall, the top of the waterfall, and this is a sacred mountain that the Cherokee have. They own it. They own it. So it was a special place for me because when I was living in Miami, I was never able to go to the Miccosukee Indians because I didn't drive and my parents don't really care about that stuff. So I was never able to interact with anyone that was from a Native American culture. So when I found out that Chimney Rock existed, I was like, let's go. And I love it. And I still remember everything that happened. So Chimney Rock is my sacred space. And isn't it weird how everything comes together? It's not weird. Why do I always say that? For the observer, it's weird. For me, it's not weird. So Chimney Rock, Cherokees, and then buffalo. I found out it's a buffalo's jaw. Is related to, what's her name? Please tell me I saved it. No, I didn't. This woman that I never knew, white buffalo, calf woman. And her actual name is Lahotiyapi. No, sorry. Her name is Precision. She's Lakota, apparently. Let me write the... Oh, snap. I spelled it wrong already. Lakho... Yapi Pittisan. I like that N. That's an interesting N. And then she gave 7. Okay, so the significant meaning of this is that, at least relating to me, because all dreams are personal. They're not some generalization that you can make a book about, and you read some of them, yes, some of the symbolisms, yes, but if it's really specific, like I've mentioned before, hey, good morning, your dreams pertain to you and your background, your culture, your heritage, your environment, your memories. So it's really hard to interpret other people's dreams. Like I can't interpret other people's dreams unless I get like keywords when they're talking about it. Then I'd be like, oh, this is what it means. But like to interpret somebody's dream, like if you're a psychologist, you'd be like, there's some dreams that you can interpret. Those are not prophetic dreams. Those are subconscious dreams. And I've mentioned that before, that there's subconscious dreams. They're dreams that are just garbage, and there's dreams that are premonitions. So this is this a premonition? Well, honestly, this is a message. So White Buffalo Woman is someone who appeared to Lakota when they were at their lowest point when colonizers came, I assume. I didn't read too much into it, but basically, most likely, if you believe in it or not, I really don't care what you believe in. She's a past life me. And I say that because I've had dreams before I knew her name or what her myth was or her culture, of me dressed up in white traditional buckskin and meeting two Native Americans. And in that Wikipedia article, they mentioned there were two men that she met. So is that a coincidence? No. And I've had past life regression dreams during meditations. Like I've had one about Scottish men. But anyways, Scottish men. That's for me because it's spicy. So in this situation, this is just confirming what I have to do for my work. My work involves helping everyone from marginalized communities, including Native Americans, indigenous people. I'm sorry, do they still call themselves Native? I think they do. They call themselves Native, and I don't think they call themselves Americans because that's different. So the natives, the indigenous people, I will be working with when things are not back to normal, because they're never going to go back to normal, but when things are more accessible, and people aren't so afraid of dying from a virus they have no control of. So this is just telling me that, yes, I will be going to a lot of indigenous people's events and doing things there to help bring them back to their former glory. You know what I mean? And that's going to be fun because I really love the culture. I have indigenous blood too, but I'm not from North America. I'm from South America, and we're the same thing, but we bring a different energy, I guess, because my people, the Amazonians, they're no nonsense. Like they did not let people step on their land. They murdered them like right off the bat, and that's the type of person that I am. Like if we don't know who you are and you're a threat, we see you as a threat, allow you to come in here and do what you wanted to do. I'm not saying that the Native Americans are weak, but different attitudes. Like Amazonian women are pretty strong, physically and mentally, and no nonsense. and so are the upper Native Americans, the natives, sorry. Um, but their land is mainly flat, and in the Amazon, it's different environment. So climbing mountains, carrying children, carrying heavy things. So our bodies are different. That's why I have big hips, because they provide extra strength. You know what I mean? Anyways, back to this dream. So the buffalo jaw represents white buffalo calf woman. Chimney Rock is a place that I'm going to visit again, anyways. And what else was in the dream? Oh, and I wrote it down here. Sorry, my dyslexia. MMIWG. They expanded it, and you can check that out at MMIWGFFADA.ca. Those are National Inquiry to Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. And I'm going to join them and see what I can do for them and help them in any way possible, because it's just what I do, and it's a message. And when I get messages, I listen. So I know some people just, they have dreams and they're like, but I've made a promise and I listen to what I'm asked to do. Because if not, then what's the point of being spiritual if you're just going to ignore important messages? It's kind of disrespectful. Yeah, so let me see. I have the page open. And they have a book. They have a final report. And there's a podcast, so I'm going to write that too. It's called the Truth Sharing Podcast, which I'm going to listen to. Okay, yeah, this is something that I'm going to be part of. So, and they have their own. Okay, so they have a Facebook page. I'm going to join. Yeah, this is really important to me. This is something that I would join anyways, even if it wasn't a message. Like, I didn't know they existed. Until I was watching YouTube. I was watching some memes, some native memes, and they mentioned it. So I am aware of a lot that goes on the res, because there was a show I watched. What was the show called? It was on Netflix. And me and my father watched it because, that was like one of the only bonding things that we had. And it was about this sheriff who was an American. He was white, who had to go in between the res police and him and, his police, because they have their own police and the Americans have their own police. And he always had to deal with situations. And what was it called? I'm going to look it up because it's a really good show. It taught me a lot about the stuff that goes on the res and what they did to not only the men on the res, but the women. They literally sterilized Native American women against their will. And when I saw that, I cried. I was just so like so sad. But let's see. Um, Longmire. How did I forget that? I made something when I was in school, so it's called Longmire. I'm gonna write that down again because it's really important to go back and watch. So Longmire was a series that I watched, and it taught me a lot about what's going on and a lot of things that we don't know, or we don't care. Well, I'm not including myself in that. That most Americans really don't give a shit about what's happening on the res. Like they really don't care. So that's fine. They can be ignorant, but I'm not. I choose to learn and educate myself. So basically, yeah. So this is just a very interesting dream, and I'm glad they gave it to me. And we're gonna mention Avatar because not Avatar we can mention the movie. We can mention all three because there's three Avatars that I know. There's Avatar the movie. Is it Michael Bay? Who made that movie? Whatever. Avatar the movie with the blue people. Avatar the animated series, which I love too, and Avatar the band, which I love too. So basically, we're going to talk about the animated series. Avatar, if you know about it or not, is about spiritual enlightenment. The one being that can access all past lives. So that's nothing new. Like that's in the I can't pronounce it right. Bhagavad Gita, which is an ancient text of spiritual awakening and spiritual enlightenment. That I believe, was it Shiva? It may have been Shiva who could access past lives, or and relating this to Avatar the band, the word Avatar is from Hinduism, which I practice, and it means when gods take the form of anything. I wouldn't say just humans, any other form on this 3D plane. So this whole series, Avatar, is totally possible in a spiritual sense. In scientific terms, you could say that it's almost DNA memory. I know people are going to be like, how do you know that? Well, it's a theory based on some evidence that I have found. But that stuff is totally possible. Like you can access your past lives if you're open to it. Because if you don't believe in that, then don't even bother. Because you're just going to be like, don't even bother to like try it. But if you are accepting and fully aware of the possibility that you have lived multiple lives, and I say maybe there's a possibility that you're a new soul, then you have no storyline. But if there are people here that have reincarnated years and years and years and years and years, eons and millennia or whatever, And you can access that information through spiritualism, through meditation, and through anything spiritual. It's called past life regression. It is a thing in spiritualism. I don't actively practice it. Like, it just, when I need that information, it comes to me, or when it's telling me a message or teaching me a lesson, to teach me a lesson here and for this life, I get access to it. Or also when I want some fan fiction to write about, some very saucy fan fiction, because I do write erotic stories. I get access to some of them, not all of them, but a few. And yeah, that's totally possible. And I ask that you try it, if you're open to it. It's, if you can do it on the first try, like, that's good. That's good. But if you keep practicing, eventually something will come. But you have to be extremely open-minded to whatever comes, because it can not only be a past life on this planet, but a past life on another planet, a past life in a parallel universe, a past life that's happening now simultaneously, and also in an alternate reality. So you really have to keep an open mind. And also through that, you can eventually just astral project, which I've done once subconsciously. That was pretty fun. I wish I could do it again, but I don't really need to, because, I'd rather witness it, like, in this plane. But Avatar, yeah, it's really interesting. People want, and I'm going to talk about, like, savior complex. People are always happy to have these characters to look up to that save the masses, but they never want to think about how they, like the observer, can be that person. You know, and I ask that you guys be the person that saves yourself and other people. Is it easy? No, obviously, you've seen the series. Is it worth it? Yes. Will people hate you? Of course. Will people love you? Yeah. Um, in the end, things that are the hardest to do are worth the price that you pay at, um, not at the end, but eventually you accumulate. So things that are easy, they're easy for a reason. They're not worth anything. So yeah, maybe we'll do a little spiritual exercise, like, you could even, it really, meditation, as I mentioned, is based on you. So if you don't meditate, you can start writing a story and see what type of characters come up. You can do nidra yoga, which is laying on something comfortable and falling asleep, and see what comes up. You can do standard meditation, sound meditation, whatever tickles you, and see what comes up. I'm always curious about people's stories, their past lives, because, I love characters. I love to read. So I ask you to do that. Excuse me. Let's see what else we can find about this MMIWG. These women are gorgeous. So beautiful. All right, so I'm going to add him on Facebook and I'm going to add him on Instagram because that is oh my god, my phone's about to die. What? All right. Okay. Liked. And Instagram is what I'm on most of the time because, Facebook is really toxic. Like, ugh. All right, so I joined in. And so yeah, dreams. There's different categories of dreams. I should write it down so I remember because sometimes I forget what I say. Garbage. Messages. And premonitions. And I'm just going to put subcategory prophetic. Garbage. Let me write it down. So garbage is basically what you need to work on. What you need to work on, what you need to address. Yeah. Messages are messages like, hey, this is important. So I'm just gonna put important. Actually, I should use some other term. Messages are from spirit or whatever you believe in, creator, Jesus, your God. I'm just putting spirit. Premonitions are events that haven't happened yet. So yeah, these are the types of dreams. And even nightmares are included in this. So nightmares. Dreams and nightmares. What you need to work on, garbage. Messages are spiritual. And premonitions are prophetic. I don't think a lot of people get premonitions because not everyone is willing to do what you need to do. Anyways, so that's it for those dreams. Actually, let me print out a picture before I forget because oh, do I have ink? I don't think I have any ink. So yes, Dreams are really important. How do I crop? Oh, here. I don't need all this, but just need this. And sometimes this printer doesn't respond to my phone, so I guess that's a peace pipe. So yeah, dreams are very important. And I haven't forgotten about the Spectrum game. I will do it. Is today Thursday? Yeah. Yeah. I'll do it today. Most likely later today, like tonight. Because I'm taking it easy because it's storming and it makes me really, really like calm and relaxed. So I get really sleepy and then I just want to read. So yeah. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you can access your spiritual knowledge. Yeah, my back.